Awesome. Welcome everybody to our first official Dharma dialogue session. So we're here on Koh Noi at Island Yoga, and we're going to be doing these every week. So if you're tuning in live on Instagram Live, you're welcome to contribute thoughts or questions that we'll respond to in real time. Otherwise, this series is going to live on our YouTube channel, so you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, and we'll be uploading every week. So for this week, as a continuation of last week's topic on intentions, we felt like it was important to do a deep dive and really go deeper into this topic, because we felt like we just kind of were scratching the surface and we wanted to go deeper. And I think a nice way to start, we named this series the Dharma Dialogues, and I think there's a very clear relationship between Dharma and intentions. So I'd love for you to discuss high level, at the recap for those who missed it last week, what is intention, living with intention and intentionality, and what is the relationship between that and our Dharma?
Well, Dharma is the path. Dharma is the path that we choose in life. And through the practice of yoga, through elevated motions, elevated consciousness, we start to see our potentials, and the Dharma is really realizing those potentials, is living on purpose or living in intention. And intention, many faceted. You can be intentional in your everyday life, but you can also project into the future what it is that you want to bring into your life and start to manifest things through powerful intention. But the heart and soul of this is to come really back into the present moment awareness and have a powerful grounding, a stable base from which you can create your future. Because it's very difficult to create your future if you're all over the place emotionally, physically, psychologically. So I think for today's discussion, it's about taking control again. It's about gaining mastery over our lives, about really becoming yogi today, about understanding that we don't have to become victims of our environments, and we don't have to become victims of the media, but take this time, because we do have lots of time right now, to go within and to see who we really are, and to work on our practices and see what our potentials are, so that we can start to realize our highest potential. We can start to create a meaningful Dharma for ourselves.
It's interesting, this idea of regaining control. But right now, I think so many people are experiencing a loss of control, right?
Exactly.
What does it look like to take control right now when, for many of us, we can't leave our house? We can't, the limitations are very real.
That's the word. And for us, one of the blessings of yoga is limitation. It's when we've got unlimited time and space that we really often don't use it well and wisely. But when we've been constricted and our options have closed down, then we start to pay attention. There's only so many things we can do. There's only so many moves we can make. And so our choices are limited. So then we have to make smart choices with our time and space in order to grow. So for me personally, as a yoga teacher and the head of a yoga school and a practicing yogi, this is an amazing opportunity to develop my own practices. I spend now 4 or 5 hours a day on my practices, on my asana yoga, on my tai chi, on my meditation, on my general health and fitness, and on bhakti, on developing more creative sides of myself as well. So that's taking control. That's not being, and this is really important to understand, it's not being at the mercy of our environment. If we look out into the environment and we see all the gloom and doom and the restrictions out there and the media hype and the drama of what's going on right now, we feel disempowered, we feel helpless. And that helplessness and disempowerment generates fear. And fear generates stress. And stress lowers our consciousness. Stress lowers our perception of who we are, what we can be. It lowers the whole volume, it lowers the vibration. And ultimately, and this is really important right now, it compromises our immune system. Because when you're in stress, you go into survival mode. And you simply can't elevate the autonomic immune system to its highest function when you're trying to survive. And this is all a mental construct, you know? For 99% of the people, there's not that much wrong right now. It's just that they're restricted in their environment. They can't travel, they don't have the freedom that they've had. But there's a reason behind this as well. And again, this is another part of the topic we want to cover today. We do live in an intelligent universe. Well, it's a question you have to ask, and as yogis you start to understand there's a good reason why we're put in this place and time right now. And we have to understand that we are part of this whole scheme, this intelligent scheme. And it's not bad luck that we've come across this right now. There's a deeper meaning, and we need to embrace that deeper meaning. We need to go deeper within ourselves, to take control of ourselves, take control of our emotions, take control of our physical well-being, go deep within ourselves, disengage from the media and the outside environment, don't become a victim of that, but gain a mastery of our own autonomy, our own strength within. And then we'll start to see what the reasons are, why we're in this position, and what we can do to create a better future from this place. And that's only coming back, as yogis, we always come back to being here now. You know, there's only one place that we can ever come back to, and we're always aspiring to come back to be here now, be in this present moment, time and space, and then we can start to create, and then we can start to build a mastery of our own lives. And this for me is an amazing opportunity for almost the whole human race to gain that mastery. We'll never have this time again. I mean, for most people they'll be going, we never want it again, but in many ways this is a great gift. We just can't be extravagant anymore. We can't be mindless. We can't be, you know, just over-consuming anymore. You know, and this is nature's way, the intelligence, the universe's way of saying, slow down, go back within, start to take control of things, really take a balanced perspective on who you are, where you're going, what your life is really all about, what's the purpose of your life here on planet Earth at this time, and then make something of it, make something powerful and positive and creative from this time, build from this time. This is a perfect place to go on retreat. I mean, we're living here on Koh Samui in a retreat centre, and our business is bringing people from busy, chaotic, stressful city centre usually lives to this retreat space. Now everybody's on retreat. It's being imposed upon us, and we don't rebel against it. We have to embrace it. We have to say, okay, it's our time. We've got lots of online presence in yoga and wisdom teachings to really learn and understand how we can go with it, how we can develop our yoga practice, our meditation practice, our mindful practice. So, and then once we've developed a mastery over our lives, we can become intentional. Before that, we really can't. If we've got chaotic and unbalanced emotions, and our psychology and our physical beingness is out of balance, then we can't really be effectively, we can't function effectively intentionally. So this is a perfect place to be right now. It doesn't get any better.
And when we were speaking earlier, you were talking about this idea of truth. This idea that to be intentional, like you were just saying, we have to accept the truth of our situation as
right
well.
now.
Like, what is the relationship between intentionality and truth?
Yeah. Again, as well as coming back to this present moment awareness, we ask ourselves, what is our truth right now? Who are we right now? What's our reality? What's our state of reality? And our truth is always reflected by our state of mind. So if we're in a stressful state of mind, then our truth will be a limited consciousness and a limited perception of who we can be. But if we let go of that and we go deeply within with the yoga practices, then our truth expands. It expands with the consciousness, and so our reality and our potential expands as well. So the first thing we come to is, what's your truth right now? Who are you right now? Where are you going? What's your potential? And we have to look at this always from the positive perspective. Okay, we've got to stay in, we can't travel, we can't socialise, so our choices are being cut down considerably, so we learn to work with what we've got. And that's our truth at one level. And then we say, well, we've got lots of time, we've got online presence, most of us, we've got Wi-Fi, We're being coached by good teachers all around the world in all the different spiritual arts. That's our truth and that's our reality. So let's work from that place. It's very simple in many ways.
It's interesting though, I feel like for so many of us, the idea of who am I is associated with the things that we do. It's productivity,
Of
like
course it is.
I am my work, I am my
Yes.
achievements, and right now we have to let go of all that.
Yeah.
So who am I
That's the
if
blessing.
I'm not doing anything? Right?
Exactly, that's the blessing. The who am I, when we're not constricted into yoga, the who am I is our personality, it's our ego. Look, I'm a father, I'm a boss, you know, I'm this and that, you know, I have this car, I have this house, I have this bank account, I have this prestige about me, but it's all outside, it's transitory, it's not real, you know. But that's what most people focus on most of the time, and that's where they gain their identity, and it's a very shallow and transitory identity. It's not solid, and you can't build on that, and that's the problem with most people's lives, is they build on an illusion. It's transitory, and the ego won't let go of that. The ego just wants more of that kudos, and more of that fame, and more of that applause, you know. And when that's taken away, people feel naked. They feel absolutely spiritually naked, and that's great. That's a great place to start from. Again, that's the blessing. Nakedness is good, and that's your truth. You know, the truth is that we don't have anything. We don't have any of these titles anymore that we can carry around and feel magnificent because of them. You know, so from a spiritual point of view, this is extremely good. We're brought back down to our bare bones, as it were, and it's beholden to us to go inside and to find out who we really are. And once you start to go inside and you let go of the ego personality, that outer layer, which you do need that construction in modern day society, you need some kind of identity, but you build a stronger identity by going inside through the practice of yoga and seeing who you really are. And then you find you are a soul, spirit, nature. You're eternal, you're immortal, you always have been, you always will be. And you're here on this planet Earth, in this body, in this moment in time, in order to grow, in order to express yourself in the most powerful and positive and creative way you can do. That's who you really are, you know? And we always come to three questions, and the three questions that always come is, who am I, in yoga, in meditation, in deep spiritual intra practices, we always come to three questions of, who am I, what's my purpose, and how can I serve? And they change all the time. The answers to those change as we grow in consciousness. As we expand in consciousness, the who am I changes. You become a more powerful, more creative, less egotistical person, less enamored with the outer world, and more seduced by the inner world, you know? And your purpose starts to shine more powerfully. And the things that you used to do to impress people no longer impress you. And you become more on purpose. You live your life according to service. And that's the third one, how can I serve? So you find out who you are, what's your purpose in life, in this lifetime, what talents do you have, what creativity do you have, what skill sets do you have, and then how can you use those skill sets to make a better world for yourself and for the rest of our planetary inhabitants. And that is the practice of yoga. That's living, breathing, heart and soul yoga. Who am I? What's my purpose? How can I serve? And you just keep embracing those within the spiritual practices. That's your truth.
So for those at home who are practicing, are these questions that they should be asking in meditation? I mean, you said that there's a specific meditation around this as well, but how do we connect with that inner intention or inner awareness of self?
There's two ways that this comes in practice. First, generally speaking, in the general practice of yoga, you do your asana practice, you know, and the ancient yogis of India, thousands of years ago, gave us these wonderful asana and pranayama, breathing and stretching practices to clear away all of the outer restrictions, all of the emotions and all of the old memories and the conditioned behaviors and the stuckness within the body, the energetics, so that you get clean and clear, so that you can sit unimpeded by restricted emotions and constricted mindsets. You can go deeply within and find out who you really are. So you've stripped away all the outer layers through the practice of yoga. And that's typically, in modern day, an hour's practice, an hour and a half, and you do it every single day. And every day you feel a little bit better, and you feel a little bit more expanded, a little bit less burdened by emotions and negative behaviours, a little more conscious, and a little more positive. And it will come very naturally that who you are, who am I, starts to become very apparent. So that's at one level, that's almost a passive level. And you do the practice, and then you sit silently at the end, and you just open yourself to who am I, and who am I becomes apparent to you. Or you can actually have a meditation that says, who am I? Who am I? You can ask the question, you can pose the question out there, who am I at the end of the practice? And it will come back to you as well. And that's actually called Hadraya. It's a heart-centered practice of asking, who am I? And it's a very old and very effective meditation in and of itself. So two ways to discover who am I.
Oh, we have a question?
Yeah, we have a question from Katiere, and she's asking how to balance between being at now and planning the future.
Good question. Good question. To what we were just saying, to come into this present moment awareness elevates your consciousness. It opens your mind to all possibilities. You start to connect to the unified field of all knowing, the intelligent unified field. Once you've connected to that, it comes back to you and it shows you what your potentials are, and it shows you where you should be going and what you should be doing. And you pay attention to that. It's almost like a download. It comes into you in meditation, and either in the meditation or better still after the meditation, when you come out of the time of silent mind, silent sitting at the end of the asana practice, you wake up, and usually within 20 minutes, half an hour, like a bubble will come to the surface of the mind and open up, and it'll be saying, you need to be going over here and doing this with your life right now. And it's an awakening, and it's a aha moment, and you go, oh, I would never have thought of that. That's where I need to be going, that's what I need to be doing. And so then you set the intention. First, the meditation, soul nature, has given you where you should be going, what you should be doing, and then the conscious mind recognizes that signal, that message, that signpost, and then it's up to you to say, okay, then I'm going to start intending to go that way, and then you create a picture, you create a vision for that creature to start manifesting, and you hold that picture, that vision, that intention very powerfully, and you reinforce it every day through your practices, and you stay conscious of it, and you pull it towards you. You're manifesting, you're pulling things in towards you. And again, this is so perfect in this day and age. You can't run around chasing things. You can't be chasing jobs, you can't be chasing relationships. I mean, you can online, but most of us tend to run around job interviews and dating and all the other things, running around like headless chickens. Now we're becoming yogis. We have to sit powerfully, quietly, go deep within and call those things in. That's the art of manifestation, the art of powerful positive intention.
It's interesting, we were talking earlier about control, and now we're saying intention is coming from this place of inner awareness, right? Like it's coming to us in meditation. Can I control my intentions? Like what if what I want, or where I would desire to be in life, is different than what my inner awareness is telling me my intention is meant to be?
Well, that's the conflict. That's always the conflict. Our outer personality ego thinks it wants one thing, and our inner soul nature knows where it should be going, and it knows what we should be doing. And so there really isn't a control issue there. The most important thing, and this is a very extremely good question, the most important thing is not to become a victim to your environment. And the environment is part of the media, or the media is part of the environment. But you have to become greater in your body, in your mind, than the circumstances in your environment. In other words, your inner world has to become stronger, more powerful. It's not disturbed by the outer ramifications of what's going on in the environment, the media, And once you've gotten to that very powerful inner place, then you won't be shaken, you will be in control. You're not in control when you're at the mercy of events outside, around the world, that you're watching, witnessing, understanding, and you can't do anything about it, makes you feel helpless. And that's what most of us are, not me personally, because I don't watch the media, and I feel much more powerful right now. But most people, they tend to be feeling helpless and fearful because they're out of control, because they're watching all of this going on and they can't do anything about it. You're not supposed to do anything about it. You're supposed to change your own inner world right now. That's the spiritual message. You're supposed to go within and change your inner world, make yourself powerful, so that when we can go back outside, we go back out as powerful yogis and not, not at the mercy of our environment anymore. This is the time to do the work, to let go of being manipulated by our environment and fearful of our environment, and go within and become greater than our environment. And that's number one. That really is, without doing that, nothing else is going to work. You need to come within. You need to disengage to a large degree with the media and what's going out there, because you can't do anything about it, and most of it makes you feel disempowered, and it makes you feel fearful, and it lowers your vibration, and so you're going against yoga. You're going against all of the principles of yoga, which say go within, make yourself powerful, and then go and present yourself to the world. You're no use to the world if you're disabled, are you? You think about that. If you feel helpless, you feel weak, you feel fearful, what use are you to the world? You're a burden on yourself and you're a burden on society. And as yogis, we need to become powerful individuals. We need to go within to build up our mental and our physical strengths and our constructs, and then go out there with wisdom and intelligence and shining our light, being inspiration and helping make these changes in the world. That's what this time is all about. So we take control. We disengage from that helplessness and fear of the outer environment, and we become greater than our environment by our inner strength, by our inner practices. And that can only be achieved by consistent practice, a consistent practice of yoga. And that's what we've got the time for. That's why I was saying at the very beginning, I'm practicing myself just because I can and I love doing it. I'm practicing 4 or 5 hours a day. And it's easy. I mean, I'm doing Tai Chi, and I'm doing yoga, and I'm doing singing, and I'm doing meditation, and I'm doing fitness things as well, twice a day, every day, because there's nothing else to do. And I feel like I am growing. And all of the people around here are doing the same thing. We're becoming more powerful people. And when this is over, we'll be able to serve more powerfully. But this is true for everybody. Nearly everybody has the chance now to disengage from the outer, to turn that media thing off, and to celebrate the environment that we've got, make it as healthy as you can. Even if you're stuck in an apartment, you can have incense, you can have good music on, you can try and create some healthy food diets, you can learn new skills, you can do some art, some music, some cookery, anything that really enhances yourself. Look after each other, be more compassionate, be more loving with the people around you, send positive messages out into the universe. This is all yoga. And start creating a positive wave, a positive change, and work on yourself more and more. And the more that you work on your yoga, the deeper you go, the deeper the change becomes, the more powerful you become. And we don't have a choice. There's no choice. Well, we do have a choice. We can be helpless and feel surrendered to the inevitable and feel like it's just fate and luck and chance and hope we're going to be okay. Or we become yogis and take control of ourselves and really become the architects of our destiny. We can become the masters of our destiny. And that to me is no choice. You have to become the master of your destiny. So this is the perfect time.
I think one thing that comes to mind from personal experience, but also I'm sure for a lot of the people watching, is that, on paper it makes sense. I need to let go of stress. I need to have a daily practice. Like, it all is very logical, but I think in action it can be really difficult. And there are some days even now that I wake up and I find it's really hard to get myself motivated to practice. So what are things that we can be doing, or daily tips or strategies to help kind of counteract those elements of daily life that can be stressful?
First, I would say shake it up. Don't do the same thing every day. Even get out of bed on a different side. do different things, because if you just drop into the habit of yoga, I mean, it's good to drop into the habit of yoga, but don't drop into the same system every day, doing the same routine at the same time, for the same length of time, and then you make the coffee, and then you have the same conversations and everything. Start to get creative, shake things around a little bit. Even if you're in your apartment, do things in a different way, and that keeps you interested. You get up and you think, oh, I'm going to do it differently today, and it feels good, and it feels good. And then look at different videos and learn different things from, this is where you should be connecting to the media. Go to YouTube and look at Tai Chi, Qigong, Asana Yoga, Bhakti, and all the creative mediums that we can learn from those things, and take the inspiration from all these great teachers that are putting stuff online, and just dive into it, just dive deeply into it. And once you've started it, it's a bit like when you want to start going for running. The hardest thing about starting to get fit is putting your shoes on. It's the hardest thing, you're just fighting a mental battle of like, I don't want to go out there, I don't want to start running, it's painful, and within 5 minutes of running, you're breathing, you're exercising, the energy's starting to flow through your body, your mind's opening, the stress is leaving you, and you're going, oh, I'm so glad I started. So it's just starting, isn't it? It's getting on the mat, it's getting something done, it's getting the paints out, it's getting the cookery going, it's sending those positive messages out, Once you start, it takes, anything creative and positive just takes a life of its own on, and it starts to feed you. Within a few minutes you're going, oh, I can't not do this. This is what I have to be doing, because the other choice is to just go down, is to sink. And we can't do that. There's just not a choice in this. I mean, this is when we find out who we really are. Who am I? Well, I can give up, or I can charge on, or I can be somewhere, and most of us are somewhere in the middle, and we have to work on that somewhere in the middle and push it towards the more positive, creative side, and keep pushing it, and keep pushing it. I mean, this is spiritual discipline, and nothing whatsoever is going to be achieved without that discipline, without the discipline of getting up, getting going, getting the practices done, and then sitting back and giving yourself a pat on the back, and then taking and going, well, I think I did pretty good today, and tomorrow's going to be even better, and you do feel good, and the universe, the intelligent universe, will come around and it will give you more opportunities. It will show you, it will give you feedback, and you'll go, oh, well, now that I've done that and I feel good and I've learned a little bit, I can pursue it a little bit further, and there's more avenues to explore, and this is getting a little exciting, and you're starting to reveal latent skills and talents that you're bringing into your creative day. So, but it's like you said, it's getting going, and not getting going in the same old way every day.
I think we have a question.
Yeah, we have a question about the ego, and is asking how to differentiate when is the ego speaking instead of your true feeling.
Silence. Go to silence. You can't question soul. When you've got a chattering mind, chattering monkey mind, that's the ego at work. When you go to silence, and you can use a mantra, you can use music, you can do the yoga first, but when you go into deep silence and that chattering monkey finally stops and you go into the deep silence, then you've gone beyond the ego. So it's very simple. I mean, it's not an easy practice to do, to get into meditation, but meditation is the highest form of yoga, and it's the opposite of ego. You've got ego personality, which is the mind, it's the mental construct, it's the intellect, basically, and it's the sense of self related to the outer environment. So that's the ego at work, and we've all got ego, and we need ego to get out of bed in the morning, But the opposite of that is soul spirit. So we say we go within and we calm the mind down, we calm the emotions down, we go back into the silence, and it's in that silence, and that silence is hidden between the 60 to 70,000 thoughts, ego thoughts that we think every day. Not all bad, but about 70% are not good. So you think about that, 60 to 70,000 thoughts the average human being thinks every day. 90% of those thoughts we thought yesterday, and 70%, the volume, 70% are self-defeating. So there's only about 30% that are actually positive. So we need to lower the volume on the thinking, every day bring it to naught, to silence, and hidden behind that 60 to 70,000 is the soul nature, and that's your truth. That's who you really are, that's who am I. And that's where the soul nature speaks to you, and it tells you where to go and what to do. And one of the most beautiful things, and this is really important to understand, when you go into that silence, when you go into that soul nature, when you go into meditation, it's also a trigger to release the old unconscious memories, the old patterns of behavior that no longer serve you. They call them samskaras in a Buddhist term and a Hindu term. So when we go into that perfect silence, the old memories come up, the hidden memories, maybe from childhood, that are dysfunctional, that are not serving us, and we let them go. They just come up to the surface like bubbles coming to the surface of water, and they dissipate, and we feel so much better. We feel less burdened. We feel lighter and brighter after every meditation. And it's nothing we have any control over. This is your spirit, soul, nature working at releasing. And it doesn't usually release them when you're stuck in the ego mind. The ego mind creates more of them. It creates more samskaras, more memories, more conditioned behaviors. And then you become conscious and you start to develop positive behaviors, which become unconscious behaviors, but they're initiated by your positive creative mind. So you get rid of the old ones that come from usually early childhood, the old samskaras. You're clearing out the old memory banks of things that no longer serve you, and you're starting to put in good, positive, life-affirming, holistic behavior patterns that become unconscious. They have to become unconscious. You can't think of them all at the same time, but you start to develop a very powerful conscious behavior pattern. That again is becoming a yogi. This is all the work that we're ready to do. This is the time and the place to do that work.
And next week, our theme is actually going to be on consciousness, ego, and mind. So we're going to be delving into this more.
We'll go much more into the ego conscious mind.
Yeah, definitely. But I'm curious. We talked a little bit about this. I know you just started to get into it, but what is that relationship between intention and consciousness?
Again, yeah, we would say by the time somebody is 35 years of age, the average Westerner is 95% unconscious. Only 5% conscious, and it's only with the conscious free will you can make changes. The unconscious mind is running the show, and the unconscious mind is driven by the ego. So because it's all of those self-serving ego conditioned behaviors that are running the show.
Default patterning.
Of course it is, and it's just going round and round and round. And they say past 35 we become 99% unconscious. Only 1% we have free will. Only 1% of our mind is open and can see clearly about who we are, what our real truth is, what our reality is, and how we can change things, because we've become so conditioned, we've become so patterned in our behaviors. And this is the average Westerner, not a yogi. That when we start doing yoga, that changes. We become more conscious, 5, 10, 15, 20% conscious. And we start looking at our life and we're going, oh my God, where was I going? What was I doing? Why am I doing this and this and this? And you're waking up. It's a journey of awakening, of course it is. You're waking up in yoga to who you really are and where you can go and what you can do. And you can start to see all the possibilities and potentials. And you start making those changes. You go, wow, I can't afford to become any more unconscious. It's not serving me. And usually past the age of 40, if you're not going to make those changes, it doesn't change in this lifetime. And that's it. You're just on a slow decline. Slow decline. It's just going to sink you because 70% are not self-serving, and you just give up after a while. So it's beholden to all of us. It's so important to become conscious, to become more than that 5%, to become 10, 15, 20% conscious, and then you will see the ego for what it really is, which part of it serves you, part of it doesn't serve you, and you'll have enough consciousness, you'll have enough free will to go, thank you, but no thank you. I don't need to go down that path anymore of trying to satisfy my ego, personality, self all the time. I need to go deeper into my soul nature and find my true purpose, my Dharma, which is what these talks are all about. And that's what I said, that's what we'll explore next week.
We'll be doing that more next week. I think as a closing question, I'm curious, what does it look like, or what does it feel like to live with intention? Like, how do you know that you're doing it right?
Well, you're joyful. Yeah. It's to me, it's being a light being. You feel like you're always in the right place at the right time with the right people, getting the right things done. You feel like you're in synchronicity with life. You feel like you're in oneness nearly all of the time, and you can almost not put a foot wrong. And this is not a giveaway. You have to work for this. You know, you have to do the practices. You have to stay conscious. You have to take some of the pitfalls. You know, you have to keep picking yourself up, dusting yourself down, carrying on. But there comes a point when you realise that you are part of the intelligent universe. You're an aspect of the intelligent universe, and you're doing the dance with God, if you like. You know, you become a yogi. You become of service, you're giving and you're receiving. There's an infinite abundance to the universe, which we'll also cover in one of our talks. But you're just in the flow. And you know what it's like when you're in the flow, when you're just doing things and everything just seems to be in the right place at the right time. And you just can't put a foot wrong. It feels amazing, doesn't it? That's what it feels like. That's the feeling of just being a yogi, becoming conscious. So, and that's our destiny. I mean, all human beings have come to this planet Earth in their soul nature in order to grow to come to that place. And we're all at different stages on the journey. And the journey is the journey into expanded awareness, expanded consciousness. Until ultimately, and this is an old-fashioned saying now, we become enlightened. We don't say we become enlightened anymore. This is the old, the old mystical way, oh, I'm looking for enlightenment on the path, you know. Now we say, because we're more sophisticated, I'm looking to become more conscious, not that 5% conscious like the average human being anymore, but much more conscious. I'm looking for yogi consciousness, an expanded sense of consciousness. And if you get to the point when you're fully conscious, 100% conscious, in the old days way of saying things, you're enlightened. But we're not searching for enlightenment, we're searching for this joyfulness, this sense of belonging, this sense of wholeness, this sense of being healed. Coming into wholeness, this sense of unity. And we actually call it unity consciousness. And this is another talk that we can have. We can talk about wholeness and healing and becoming into oneness and the practices that we do that bring us into this place. But yeah, that's what it is. It's coming into unity consciousness, coming into wholeness. There's no separation anymore. There's no you and me, us and them, my country, your country, my religion, your country. That's duality. We come into wholeness, unified field of consciousness, we become yogis. And that's our journey, the journey of becoming a yogi.
So consciousness in that sense is not only a full awareness of self, but it's a full awareness of self as everything, right?
As everything is integrated into everything. Consciousness, this is an important piece to understand. Consciousness is your soul nature. First there is consciousness. Consciousness courses through the neural pathways of the brain that creates mind. So mind is created by consciousness awakening, and then it goes to the neural pathways and it activates the neural pathways of the brain, which is an organ in the body. It's just another organ. It's not mystical in and of itself. But once you put consciousness, free will consciousness, through those neural pathways and they light up, it creates mind. And then mind will create intention. So you need consciousness first, and that consciousness needs to grow through the practice of yoga, and then you bring it when you're in control of it, and it's not controlled by the ego. You bring it in free will consciousness, high caliber, high frequency consciousness into the brain. It creates a high quality mind, a yogi mind, and that yogi mind knows where to go and knows what to do. It becomes an intentional mind. And that's where we're trying to go. This is the purpose of our Dharma talks, is to show people this journey into higher levels of consciousness so that we can live intentionally, that we can collect the information from meditation. And once we've collected this information, I mean, meditation is an information intelligence gathering operation. That's what meditation is. We sit there and we gather the intelligence and the information on who we are, where we're supposed to be going, our purpose in life, and how we can service those three things. And then we wake up to it and we put it into our neural pathways that create mind, and the mind says, okay, now we need to visualize this and we need to manifest it, we need to intend it, and we need to bring it back into our lives. And when it arrives, we say thank you so much, and we're grateful, we have gratitude, and we show humility. And with the gratitude and humility, we perpetuate the cycle. More comes to us, you know? And if we go, well, we're just so amazing at doing this, our ego, and it all dissolves. You know, and we lose contact with the God force, if you like, or higher intelligence, and we start again. So gratitude, humility, intention, higher consciousness, all connected to yoga. It is yoga.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. Tune in next week, Thursday, 4 p.m. local time. We're going to be talking about consciousness, ego, and mind. Also subscribe to our YouTube channel where these videos will be living. In addition, if you haven't signed up for our weekly newsletter, we're contributing a lot of resources based on the techniques and tools and disciplines of yoga that we've been talking about. So it's a really nice resource for people, a toolkit for you at home to build and develop your practice. But thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Namaste. Enjoy your practices.